All right, in the last video, we looked at mapping multiple items to one control knob. Good thing for you and me is that Ableton does this internally. We've looked at key maps, we've looked at MIDI maps, okay, and now we're going to look at macros. Pick a track, take a vocoder. I'm going to just use a vocoder in this case. Dial in a sound. What I want to do is create a macro. Now, by way of explanation, you'll see in these audio effect racks a strange phenomenon, and that is that they have little pink dots. Okay, so we've looked at key maps, MIDI maps, and now we're going to look at macro maps. So I've got orange, blue, pink. And the harsh truth of it is that a bunch of stuff is already mapped to these macros. If I listen to this channel, I can see that multiple things are moving within this set of conditions right here. Okay, these are called macros. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with is macros. And go back to your track here. How do I get macros on any old plugin? I can just simply select the device and say group. And now I have, when I open up this item here in specific, I have a macro. And I can just simply right click. I'm going to move this up so we can get everything in the window. Right click and say map to macro 1. And when I play this clip, you can see it's affecting my depth. And I can map a bunch of things to macro 1. I can say map to envelope depth because the first thing I mapped was envelope depth. I can also do it to here. I can do it to here. Okay, and I can go back in and do what's called mapping ranges. So before we experimented with inverting the range, I can do that. So this one is moving in the opposite direction now as the others. This one is. Okay, and now I can play with what's called ranges, the minimum and the maximum, and totally dial a sound in. Okay, so I've created multiple mappings to one knob within Ableton Live itself. What if I wanted to add a beat repeat to that and also have those things mapped to it? But I wanted to put it within the device rack. So if I put it out here, I'm not going to get a menu to edit to macros. If I stick it inside the device rack, then I have the ability to map this to macros as well. And there I would want to futz about with the range so that I make it more musical. And I can map anything to these macros. Basically, I could map the on-off switch to it. And basically what's happening here is that this beat repeater is not coming on until 64, but I could make it come on at the very end of the knob sweep. So right out here, it's going to come on. Okay, so these are called macros. And just to go back and look at one that comes with the install that are quite a bit more fine-tuned than my own, just go to DJ Master Channel, and you can see in here lots of little macro mappings. Okay, so key mapping, QWERTY keyboard, MIDI mapping, MIDI control, and macro mapping, device control. Multiple parameters mapped to one knob. And the ranges are fine-tuned musically, and you can invert the ranges. And then in turn, you can map one of those macros to a knob on your controller, just like so. Okay, so the mapping and controlling goes on and on and on, quite deep.